What is up? This is the War Dog. Welcome to Comic Books Theater with my guest host, JR. What's going on, JR?
How's it going, War Dog?
Oh, man, it's going great. It is going really good. I just saw Sonic the Hedgehog with my kids. It is much better than I expected it to be.
I'm sure we'll get a good review of that later.
Yes, possibly if we can shorten this up or make this short enough so that I can actually give a review. But it sounds like we could talk forever.
Oh, right on, man. That's cool.
And so
our guest.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say we need to introduce our guest. We got Smitty on with us as well, who did one of the variant covers for the Crew 2. How's it going, Smitty?
Hey, how are you doing, man? How you doing, John? How you doing, Todd?
Good. Man, glad to have you on.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's not waste any time. Let's get into this. Todd, I know that you're not bashful about it, but you don't want to appear as though you're tooting your own horn too much. The Crew 2 Kickstarter dropped earlier this week. How are things going with that?
Well, right now I think we're at like 2,080 something. We have a $3,500 goal. I'm hoping that people see this or check it out. If 100 people do the minimum, then we'll make it happen. But the really exciting thing for me is that on this book particularly, we were able to add 4 more artists. 3 of the artists, this is their first cover. And so you're not putting money in my pocket. Trust me. By the end of this, I'll be exactly the same. But I'm really stoked that these guys are going to be able to hopefully have their covers and be able to show it and share it. Smitty, is this your first cover?
This is my first cover. And how old is the oldest artist who had their first cover printed or published? That's an interesting.
That's a good question. I'm not sure who the oldest.
I know there was an artist who was 98 years old, and he did have published work, but he was already in the business and came out of retirement to do it. I forgot his name offhand, but I tried to research it, and
right.
But he had previously been an artist in comics before and had published work. But it's something interesting. I always thought about that.
Well, I mean,
anyway, congratulations to the other 2 gentlemen.
Well, I mean, the good thing about this, though, is like we were talking before we started recording for YouTube, is, this is something where art is not necessarily just for the young. It's for the young at heart as well. We were talking, you brought up Jack Kirby being in his 50s doing Fantastic Four with Stan Lee.
Starting on Fantastic Four, starting to create that whole storyline. He was in his 50s.
Absolutely. And then his work at DC that he did on Jimmy Olsen and on
creating the new universe for them, the new God's universe.
Absolutely.
The Eternals coming out soon.
Mm-hmm. And
that's
so
Marvel, actually.
Well, but we're still feeling his brilliance from the later part of his career.
Yeah, yes.
The world's just now catching up with that. That's the beauty of all of that. So, he was able to tap into experience. I think that you're able to tap into some of that experience as well.
I do. Mm-hmm. I research it and study it. Sure. Look at Stan. Stan went to how old is Stan when he's still working? So age is relative, I believe. So.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and Todd's like 92 years old when he wrote his first comic book, right?
No, that was like 3 or 4 years ago. So maybe I was like 88 or something.
88. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm 42 now, and one day I sat down and said, you know what, I'm going to write this comic book. I got lucky and I met Jason Hare. Jason gave me my first opportunity. I believe that I gave Jason his first opportunity to do a comic book. And what's really fun about this second book is now we get to give other people opportunities as well that are, well deserved of having opportunities. Like Smitty, for instance, the guy posts artwork all the time. I love seeing his artwork. It's
Thank you.
distinctively Smitty. He's a generous guy, and just
Positive.
a great dude. And I mean, so having him to be a part of the crew is special and cool. And then, you know, there's a few other guys. They're not on this podcast, but Robert Ruiz is another guy. This is his first one, and Stephen
Excellent
Daly.
artist. I like Robert's work.
And then Stephen Daly is another one that did his first piece for this. We also got God's Moses, who's back, and I said Smitty's artwork is distinctly
God's
Smitty's.
the perennial favorite of all. I mean, his work is phenomenal.
Yeah, and God's artwork is
cover
also
is mesmerizing cover that he did.
Oh yeah, man! I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see all these covers printed up. They all look really darn good. Yeah, but
so, hey, I tell you what, we're talking about Smitty's artwork. Look, I think it's time we should show some of that off here. I'm gonna do a quick screen share here with us. Let's show off some of this stuff that Smitty has done here.
This is my Joker lineup, police lineup.
Absolutely.
And you got Jack, you got the 60s, you got the Joker, Amato, whatever his name was. You got all the Leno. You got the Academy Award winner in there also.
Oh yeah,
that's Heath, who passed away.
Yeah. Well, and like you say, very distinct. You know, you're looking at Smitty's artwork, so that's spectacular. Now let's talk about this one here too. This is
good.
Well, I was going to say, I like the composition. This has got to be Halloween, yeah.
I did for a client.
Right.
And what it is he wanted a couple of kids being chased or a scene like that on Halloween from a Universal monster. So I had a choice to put in whoever I did. It could have been the Mummy, it could have been the Dracula, it could have been the Wolfman, any Universal monster you wanted. I put in Frankenstein, which is, to me, the most classical of all Universal monsters. And I put a moon in there, and then I had the trees coming around into the moon, creating the glasses that my client wears. That's all tree branches and whatnot, creating the glasses. That's actually an actual picture of him in the moon.
That's awesome.
I do with go ahead, John.
Well, no, what I was going to say is you got to add those nice little special touches that make it specifically
distinctive. Yes.
Yeah, specifically for the client.
Yeah.
Look, the very first commission I ever had done at a con, was I asked for zombie Han Solo, because this is right after Force Awakens, and I told the guy, I said I wanted to be kind of like a zombie, and I made a gesture with my hand.
Right.
And that gesture is what he had Han Solo doing. And then he filled out the interior of the Millennium Falcon behind him. And I didn't even ask for any of that. But he adds all this extra stuff in. So yeah, details like the glasses and stuff like that. For speaking as a client, it makes art like that. It just, you gotta love it.
Well, and this is why I love Smitty's artwork. I mean, I look at this piece; it's so original. And it looks spectacular. It almost makes me feel like the Charlie Brown Halloween going on, right? Mixed with, just mixed with other things. But it's so fun, and everything looks great.
To add on this particular picture, he wanted Mad Dog, which is his favorite character. I've done other pieces before. He buys from me annually. Usually around the holidays, usually around Halloween. I do Halloween stuff for him. He wanted a Mad Dog character, which you don't see that in comics that much at all. Anyway, a lot of people don't even know who Mad Dog is, a DC character. He wanted another character with Tom the Tank Engine, which I added in there. Also, he's a big Beatle fan. Do you see the Beatle reference on this picture?
Yeah.
To what particular album do you see the reference?
Hang on, I'm looking.
It's the shadows coming off. I'll give you a hint. It's the shadows coming off the gravestones. If you look at the moonlight shadows coming down off the back headstones in the picture, what do you see? White lines, right?
Yeah.
And you can see the kids walking on the white lines.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yep. No, I
Have you
I
rode?
see it now. I'm like, there's something I'm missing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just
Yes.
little things like that I like to put in there. I was able to add that touch in there. Using
I'm
just
like,
the light from the moonlight and then the shadows from the headstones.
I'm like, who's the Beatles? Yeah, I'm pretty young, but
Todd, come on, man. I thought you watched my video earlier today about the top 10 cameos, man.
I know I did see that actually.
Did
I
you
love
think
the
that was
Beatles.
like, okay, I was gonna say, I thought maybe you thought that was Blue Beetle or something.
I love the Thomas the Tank Engine. I didn't even notice that until you pointed it out. That's pretty cool.
I actually did a picture of Paul McCartney getting a light from Logan on the same match.
That's cool.
We got another guy joining us on this one. We got Shazam joining us as well.
Shazam! I know what Shazam wants.
Shazam!
What?
I know what
guys?
Shazam wants.
Dude.
Well,
Wow.
you know what? Yeah, I'm looking for a commission right now, man. I'm looking for most Smitty. I need some beautiful fucking watercolors that only you can do.
Dude, I'll tell you, man. I was just showing this because I got some prints the other day, like, and whenever I'll re-show this, but dude, just like this, MODOK and Cap and Bucky, man, I'm telling you,
An
dude,
explosion.
that's going up on the wall. That's going
And a
up
big
on the
explosion,
wall.
right?
Yeah. I mean, there's so much happening in all of this. Now, I like this one. This is an interesting piece to me. I'm curious what the story is behind the.
Well, that's just it's just surrealism in art. It's taking two objects that are real and putting it together and trying to and create something with it. This was a project that I've done in school that I kept because I liked it. Be careful not to pull your pants down before you sit down. You might get a picture of the wrong picture that you want. But it was just something besides superheroes that
As long as it's got a long zoom lens, I'm okay with that.
Then my number one. Then I have a number one sports love, which is baseball.
Right on. Well, I was gonna say I saw you rocking the Yankees gear there, man.
Got my Yankee shirt on. Got my Yankees showing my colors. Got a good team this year.
Yeah.
Hope to win number 27 or 28. 28, I think it is. Right?
Man, we're all chasing the Yankees eventually, aren't we?
Yes, we do.
If you're a sports fan, you got to be chasing after that, but that might be unobtainable. That's ridiculous.
Well, not in our time. Not in our time. Before the media hits the earth again.
Fucking sports cap. With their sports cap, you would think it should be available at any time.
So
they got the money. They got the money.
Now, I'm not a Yankees fan. Who is this? Is that somebody? Is that a portrait of a specific player?
Oh, this one right here? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is the Mew, the second baseman. They call him the hitting machine.
Right on.
So I added all kinds of mechanical stuff to his body to make him, appear as a machine.
So now, any of you guys collect baseball cards back in the early '90s? Like any of them?
Yeah, I did. Going back into the '80s. I did. As a matter of fact, I had a store which sold baseball cards.
So I'll tell you what that reminds me of. That reminds me of the Bo Jackson Donruss Diamond Kings. I think it was Donruss.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Where he's got his arms crossed and he
Right.
looks like he's got like cybernetics in his arms and stuff. That's kind of what that reminds me of. Right?
Yeah, that was the Donruss one right there. I remember they also had the score one too, where he had the shoulder pads where he was holding the ball, and if you were lucky, you can get it was the miscut on that scorecard.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you that.
You took that shit back right there. We all just showed our fucking age on that shit.
I'm thinking all that's missing is the Billy Ripken, the bottom of the bat.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
and a 1989 fucking Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card.
hey. Look,
How many you want? I got millions.
I know, right? Those,
I got millions. I had
but
baseball
back
cards
then, those
for
were the hot
millions.
tickets.
Okay,
I got
so
millions.
and guys, we know we're the comic book theater podcast, but again, like Shazam said, we're kind of showing our age. This is the real deal: is the Dale Murphy reverse negative from that Upper Deck that was like super short print. That card was on fire for well over a year,
Uh-huh.
and at
Error
one,
cards, all these.
yeah, all these error cards. Honestly, I think that card right there changed collecting for everybody because it showed everybody how the scarcity of an item could impact the secondary market so much and cause a frenzy for collectors. That's my personal opinion, but I think that changed comic books. I think it changed sports cards.
Yes.
If it was collectible at the time, that was an example of how to get something going for your
Rig the market.
Yeah, basically.
Rig the market. It's almost as sacrilegious as the White Sox scandal or the Black Sox scandal, they called it.
Or the Astros.
Well,
The
I remember
Ast-
the
yes.
Randy Johnson card. He took a picture in front of a sign, a Marlboro sign, and and then they had to take the Marlboro sign out because they didn't want to promote smoking, so he had an extra card made. But that Cal Ripken card must have had about 5 different variants on the redo on that.
I remember that.
One had a square box. The other one, they had black scratch lines out of it.
Yep.
One scratch line, a black box, and then they whited it out. Forget about it. You were scrambling all over the place.
Oh yeah. Those were hot ticket items back in the day, and that was back when you didn't do stuff. When you didn't do stuff like that. So I'm gonna bump out of this so we can,
let's get to comics.
so we can get back to comics here. Hang on just a second, guys.
And the crew too.
And the crew too, absolutely.
Get your crew too, everybody.
I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong.
Yes. Definitely check out the crew number 2. John did a cover. It is awesome. It is an Atari game cartridge.
Your idea. That was Todd's idea.
Right,
John. It was a co-produced.
I'll take that.
It was a joint venture. I'm a team man.
Your artwork inspired that, and I looked at it, and a piece of artwork's special when you look at it and you're like, holy shit, that takes me back.
Perfect.
It's the aesthetic experience that they talk about, and that's what I had. Like, it was just like, wow. And also, I showed the pieces that you had done to my friend Bishop, and Bishop loved that piece as well. Mm-hmm. And so, like, it kind of made me feel a little bit better about saying, let's go with this one. But it turned out awesome. And one thing that I would say about Smitty's cover is, if you have a game room, even if you don't care about the crew, but you have a game room, that's going to look pretty darn good in a frame.
That's a good idea.
In your game room. Yeah. So
I'm in my game room right now.
I don't see any gaming going on in there.
Well, he's on the podcast with us, man.
Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. I was going to jump on and start working on some of that, but I seen you guys had a fucking Smitty up here, and of course I had to jump on that one. Oh, my God, man. You tickled my old fancy right there, old man. I'm telling you, yeah.
Giving out my first piece for the first person that came in today. This is yours, brother.
Oh, my God, man. That is beautifully on my wall right now.
That's awesome.
On your wall. You got it.
That's right on right there, man.
Hell yeah.
Bam. My man, Shazam.
I saw the Shazam movie, and I thought it was great. I waited until it was out on Amazon, and when I finally watched it, I was like, wow, I really missed out on this one. This is great.
Pretty good job.
I had my fingers crossed on that one because, DC's track record with their movies, let's just say what it is, man. It's fucking shit. It really is. Some of them were like, okay, Great
Birds of Prey.
casting.
Birds of Prey.
Horrible, horrible. Right? You know what? I really want to see that because I'm a big Black Canary fan. So I do want to check. I really want to check that out. But I mean, I know Aquaman caught some flack, but I actually like that one. I
That
thought
was
like
good.
effects wise and cinematography, I thought it was really great. Plus, I'm
Underwater
a sucker
scenes
for
were
a hot
great.
redhead. I'm married a hot redhead, so I mean, but all the rest of them, it was just like, fuck, man, these fucking suck. Especially when you're doing so well with your TV series, and now with that whole thing that they just did, where they merged everything into one continuity. I mean, on the very first episode, when they showed Alexander Knox from Batman 1989, and I was just like, I'm fucking sold. I love it. I don't give a shit where it's going. Right there, I'm sold. I love it. It's
Lock you right in.
yeah. Hell yeah. And I mean, they should have just, and what I really liked is that they phased out fucking the Flash from the cinematic with the Flash from the TV series, because that's what everybody wanted. I mean,
Yeah.
Grant Gus is a damn good Flash. He is. I mean, when it comes to their animation and their TV shows, they really, well, except for Supergirl. Supergirl is that's a whole new show in itself, all right? But I mean, as far as like, you know, how they're doing it, it really is great. It caters, especially with the Flash. It's action packed. It's what we want. It's all these B characters. I mean, come on, man. They have fucking what's his name? The fucking the shark, right?
King Shark.
Yeah, man.
King fucking Shark. Who the fuck
he
could
was
have pulled
awesome.
that shit off, right? That is not a B. That's not a D. That's like a fucking F character right there. And they pulled him off. You wanted to see more King Shark, and they pulled that shit off. So obviously they were doing something right with that. You know, granted, we can all do without the whole Andrew shit, but it's CW. You know, you got to cater to different demographics. But for the most part, it was great. I mean, and as far as the movies were really cool too, as far as their casting, with the exception of Lex Luthor. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with that. I like that actor. I think he's great, but for Lex Luthor, yeah, that shit was all fucking wrong. We'll never see a Snyder cut. We never will. And it's kind of fucked up because when you read about what the Snyder cut was, it explains so much of that movie that just leaves you going, what the fuck? I mean, well, it would have been great.
Absolutely would have been great. You know, the downside to it, though, too, is Shazam. We were talking about this before we started recording. You know, honestly, Birds of Prey probably could have used your $15 this opening weekend, man, because they got crushed by Sonic. The reviews are like a little sketch, man. Yeah, dude, it's like they can't get out of their own way. DC movies.
What's the answer?
Well, I'll tell you what I think
Kevin
the answer
fucking
is.
Feige. That's the answer.
Well, that's part of it. But I'll tell you, really,
what's the solution?
I think
Kevin
that they take themselves too seriously. They want everything to be a drama, that kind of thing. They want it to be like this over the top, and they want it to be a crescendo the entire movie. Marvel goes through ebbs and flows. They'll tell a little bit of story, and then there'll be some action, and it'll
pace it right. They pace it right.
Yeah, they pace it.
They pace the action right. They pace the build up right. Build ups they pace rightly. Yeah,
absolutely.
They got better directors, better production team, better graphics, better special effects, and just a better all-around team, I guess.
And they don't have their head up their ass, because for a long time, you know, when Marvel was on the roll that they are, DC was really trying to distance themselves, and we are not going to do what Marvel does. Why the fuck not? They have got a grand scheme going. I mean, when you think of everything cinematically, they had a 10-year running of multiple movies that led into 2 fucking movies, and it went seamlessly, and it was beautiful. It was great. It was action-packed. Every movie set the bar higher. Fucking Ant-Man. Who would have loved Ant-Man? And it was great. And the second one, it was fucking great.
Guardian of the Galaxies.
Right?
With that.
You guys have definitely been watching the podcast, because I'll tell you right now, I've been bringing those up of
I enjoy the podcast.
whenever they announced Ant-Man and when they announced Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody was like, who gives a crap? Nobody's reading those comic books. Those are B, C, D level characters. We didn't even know what team we were getting for Guardians of the Galaxy, for crying out loud. So you know, the expectation for those was
exactly for minor characters. Yeah, was low. You didn't know what to expect, like you would if it was Superman and Batman all the time with the same villains, Lex Luthor and the Joker. You didn't know who the villains were. You didn't know who the characters were going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. So they had all that anticipation building up.
I think that you get more liberty. I think you get more liberty with those C and D list characters, though. Mm-hmm. You really, really think about it. The bar is set extremely high with Batman and Superman and Spider-Man, Captain America, even. Mm-hmm. The bar is set extremely high because
your A-list superheroes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, and you know, nothing against Shazam, because I love Shazam movie. I loved it. But let's be real here. He's a tier below Superman and Batman. There's no question about that.
How fucking dare you?
I had to.
All right, don't let me get the charts and the statistics that go show how much he outsold fucking Superman. No, you're right though. He had forever lived in the shadow of Superman. And it was just it was a right issue.
Shazam at one time was the most demanded character in comics. Back in, I would say, the late 40s, early 50s. So outsold Superman millions to one back in the day.
That's why DC got so pissed and sued Fawcett Comics, was because Shazam was starting to kick Superman's butt.
And it's very similar characters with the cape and everything else. And they tried to bring more suits.
Only motherfucker to ever go toe-to-toe with Supes.
Hey.
In his prime.
In the Marvel DC crossover, Venom straight up beat up Superman. Look it up. I'm telling you. Venom beat him up, left him laying. I'm just saying, that was just...
Where was this?
The DC Marvel crossover in the 90s. This is back when straight up silliness was happening. Nobody in their right mind today thinks that Venom and Superman are on par. That's silly. But I have canon.
But still, like when you think of it,
that's the great thing about comics.
Now that you mention it, though, yeah. But when you think about it, like when you think, okay, his weakness is magic, but he's never gone against a fucking symbiote before. You know, I mean, and Venom, what he can do, I mean, it's just like, damn, he could totally catch Superman fucking off par. But the only thing that they never ever capitalize on when it comes to Superman or Captain Marvel, for that matter, is the speed. They are just as fast as the Flash. And that is the deciding fucking factor right there. And it's just like they never capitalize, it's all brute strength. It's like I remember there was an animated series where Superman finally unleashed on the Darkseid. And he told them straight up, he's like, he goes, what we have here is a rare opportunity for me to unleash. He goes, normally I have to hold myself back, but you can take it. And he fucking delivered it to Darkseid. Darkseid fucking took it and gave it right fucking back. But he didn't use his speed. Speed is the ultimate fucking factor.
Yeah, but you were talking about the movies, and so I assume you're talking about the Justice League movie. When Superman comes back to life in the Justice League movie and Flash is running past him and he realizes, oh my God, Superman's as fast as I am. I mean, that was one of the better parts of that movie. Now, I definitely would love to see that Snyder cut, but I could enjoy that movie for what it was.
That's the fact that I'm landing on, is because Superman is just as fast. I mean, he may be like faster than, but he's just as fast when it comes to them. Because there's been a few comics from the issues where they've touched on the fact that Flash is telling them when it comes to the Speed Force. Even Superman anyone that can utilize speed the way he can draws upon the Speed Force. So if they're doing that, these motherfuckers are moving, and they're moving fucking fast. But they never really fucking show that shit. Like, there's a few times, like in the New 52, where Superman was going against Batman, and you see how fast he fucking moves, and it's just like, Batman cannot fucking, I don't give a shit how much prep time he had, he couldn't compete. Superman was just that fast. He was there. He was countering everything. It's something that's not utilized because you know he has it, but it's like, okay, that's pretty much the fucking, that's where we got to draw the line. We got to kind of like take it out of the equation because he is so fucking fast. Even the Flash, man. No one has ever hit Superman as hard as the Flash when he was in a full fucking speed, and Superman even admitted it. The only other person that's somewhat capable to his power is Aquaman, but that was only admitted in the video games.
Actually, Damage punched Superman into a mountain.
Dude, I kicked Damage in his
The great
oh,
debate.
that's right.
The great Damage, exactly.
Damage was an awesome fucking book, man. I remember because I think it was Utah that was telling me about that shit. And I started reading it like back to back. God damn, yeah, he was that was a great fucking comic right there, and he did he fucking delivered that shit, but he didn't have the speed. If they were to write that shit into the factor, where Superman is using his speed to the full effect, nobody can fucking touch him. He is OP like a motherfucker.
He is OP. I mean, well, you got to remember that's why they had to historically nerf Superman. He was the original guy who had to be nerfed because you get to a certain point that he's just crushing these guys week after week. People stop suspending disbelief. They stop saying, they're like, he's not really in peril. Lois Lane isn't really in peril. The city's not really in peril because Superman has no weaknesses. So they had to do stuff like introduce kryptonite, his weakness to magic, being under a yellow sun.
That motherfucker just likes drama.
Well, a little bit. But you know what I'm saying though,
yeah.
man, is you have to introduce that little bit of a hiccup so that the kids and adults that are reading it, they're thumbing through the pages, look at it and say, are they finding a way to really make this happen? I got to get the next issue. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just it's a foregone conclusion. Yeah. It's a foregone conclusion. If it's a foregone conclusion, then
at the end of the story,
that's the other great thing about,
win.
right. Well, and that's the other great thing about his weaknesses is you introduce somebody that has a kryptonite bullet. All right, I got a kryptonite bullet. Any one of us could be walking around with a kryptonite bullet theoretically. Or Lex Luthor decides he's got a red sun ray. All right, now he's just a man. You know what I mean? It gives you reasons to think, okay, they're actually putting him in peril. He's not as invincible as they originally wrote him out to be. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting to me anyway.
Yeah, that is cool, and I love the whole idea of kryptonite at least being able to stop Superman. I mean, I hate overpowered characters; it drives me nuts. But
that makes for a great debate.
But Smitty showed a Shazam picture, and it led to us having this long conversation. And Smitty is our special guest, and I do want. Smitty's did a cover for the crew, and I don't know Smitty that well. We interact on Facebook, and I'd love to know a little bit of your history, Smitty, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So let us give it to us.
Well, I grew up in Queens, New York, a town called Rosedale. Like we were talking before, I mentioned that as soon as I got my library card and I started learning how to read, and then comics came, it was the end. I got hooked on comic book art, and I've been drawing ever since. I had the ability as a child to draw in kindergarten. I was drawing pictures of let's see, policemen putting out, directing traffic with cars and tires on the cars, and policemen in blue outfits with their hats. This was like in kindergarten. I was drawing firemen, helping people in burning buildings during the fire. So I was more advanced than most of the kids that were drawing stick figures. So then I knew I had some type of ability, some type of talent. My parents knew at a young age that I had ability to draw. So for Christmas presents, I would always get crayons and pencils and paints and watercolors and things to dabble in, and that's what I did.
So I got a question too. We were talking here earlier. It's been something you've always dabbled in. What was it that finally crystallized you and said, I'm just gonna go all out on this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pursue this dream.
Yeah, it was basically comics more so than anything else. I just loved the medium. I loved the art. And once I was hooked, I just started drawing everybody from Kirby to Buscema to Romita, and that's how I learned how to do a little bit of comic art. And then school came along. Went to college, did some arting at Rhode Island School of Design. Left there to join. I had a great offer, big bucks at an advertising agency called the Ad People, and I wound up doing ad work and advertising for quite a few years before I joined the post office.
Now,
I was basically on a freelance basis, so I was doing freelance advertising for a while. But
now, one of the things that I love about Kirby is the fact that his artwork is really, really his own, right? I mean, his
own style, yeah.
And so, and I don't know if this is sacrilegious. If it is, you guys could all boo me. But I mean, that's kind of how I felt about you when I seen your artwork. Is you have your own style, and just like with Kirby, like I think you could feel when you look at Kirby's pieces, the love that goes in every single piece. And I feel the same thing about when I see your stuff posted on Facebook. I mean, it's just there's like a unique love for what you're doing in every piece. Now, is Kirby like your number one guy? And then like
Kirby,
if you had to give your top 5, what would it be?
It would be probably in order. Well, not necessarily in order. I'll give you Kirby, Buscema, would have to be Adams. I like Toth. I just posted his life story on post just recently. I like the simplicity of his work. You don't have to add a whole lot of lines to a drawing in order to convey a point or a scene or a movement or an action or even an emotion. And what was that, 4? Did I say Steranko? Be another one of mine. They're going all the way back in the middle. You're going back to the Middle Ages on those.
Awesome.
Those are all the old timers. Today I like, of course, Jim Lee. I like, of course, our Art Germ is good on the covers. I haven't seen anything as far as sequential work. But a lot of the, I like, who else would I prefer today? Hinch, is it? What's his name? Oh, yours?
Actually, I got it. Well, what? I'm a big fan of Alex Ross, so I would put Alex Ross.
Alex Ross.
Yeah, that dude's spectacular. But like, so I was talking to one of my friends. We were talking about Art Germ, and I love Art Germ. One of the things that we were talking about was that he does a lot of pinups, and I would love to see him do like other things. Like I think Michael Stevens, the guy that actually won the drawing, showed like some samurai work. I mean, for me, my favorite.
Beautiful women.
Oh yeah,
beautiful women faces and emotions, and just some of the pictures where he did the one Supergirl where she had her reflection. She was looking out the window, and the reflection was on the window of Supergirl flying. In that one picture he did, he had another one where she had a cat in her arm and it was raining on a street, something. Supergirl. The Supergirl covers were fantastic. Walt Simonson, I like. I'm starting to get some names that are coming back to me now. Of course, Todd. I like Todd's work. I always like Todd's stuff. He's got a distinct style. A lot of line work in Todd's work. A lot of line work. The ink has got to go crazy with some of his stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I was going to
Capello,
ask.
I like Capello. He who drew for it, Todd, for a while. Now he did. I like his Batman also.
I was going to ask you here. You were talking about you had some classic training in art. I was working today and listening to a podcast, and it was the critical. I think it's Critical Thinker or something like that. He was talking about. He was talking with an artist, and they were talking about. And I don't necessarily agree with the premise of the question, but they were talking that the premise was that they believe that the standard for art had fallen recently. In other words, you would have in past comic books, you would have everybody had attended an art school of some sort. Almost nobody was self-taught, and that was causing the standard of art in modern comics to fall. Again, I don't agree with that. I'm just giving
I don't either.
here. I think that there's a wider variety of art. And I think that that's good, personally, a wider variety of art. Because art's subjective, in my opinion. What I enjoy is not going to be what somebody else enjoys 100% of the time. You know what I mean?
Believe me, I know. I try to do the very best that I can. I think it's going to be a big smash, but no one really, it's not appealing to other people. So you have to hit it right, like you said before. Something that when you got your
that
piece,
is not true. That is not true. Your name in particular came up with San Diego Comic-Con when I was with the group of let's say Anna Zhao was one of them. We were talking about, because there are certain artists that like to go against other, they want to experiment with other styles. One of the things we brought up was watercolors. And the only name that a lot of people chimed in on was you. And it was because of the corner. Where look at what he does, like his watercolors and his meshings and like that. He's the only artist that we've ever seen that is out there publicly that does this style, and because she wanted to embark on a little bit more. We were talking about your style as opposed to people that do with these 3D renderings. Okay? Like you talk about, because yours is actually it's organic. It flows from your hands, whereas you get what's this new guy Shannon something. He's a hot artist, right? I like his work. He does like that Greg Hornish type thing. When I brought it up at a Comic-Con to a lot of other artists, a lot of them shunned aside from me. And the reason why is because that in particular individual, and there's other ones that do it too, what they're doing is they're using a 3D rendering program. It's something that any one of us can buy. And as long as you have the money for the templates on the 3D rendering, you get to buy certain silhouettes, and then you just put a layer upon layer upon layer, but it's a character that's bought. And that certain character, yeah. I mean, because here I am thinking he's the hottest thing since fucking peanut butter and jelly. But then as I'm starting to see other artists that are actually in the circuit, in the cons, and they're like, well, this is what he's doing, and it's kind of frowned upon. And I'm fucking shit, really? I'm like, I thought he was the hottest thing, even though he is the hottest thing, and he's selling. The type of art that he's doing is bought.
I will say that if it's the artist that I'm thinking of in my mind doing those kind of renderings, I've actually seen some pencil work that he's done. And again, it's not pencil work that's being sold on the comic covers, but he's got crazy skill with the pencil as well in his hand. I think that, look, let's be real here. Like we were talking about before with John, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to pay the bills.
I've done it, been there.
Right.
To eat.
Right.
I've joined to eat.
So you do that to get your foot in the door, and then you expand from there. It's kind of like Art Germ, too. And I'm not. Art Germ was not who I was originally thinking of, but the critique is that he draws pretty ladies and he's a digital only guy and some of this stuff, and then you see him drop something on Instagram or through our Germ Collectibles or on Facebook, and it's pencil to paper, and it still blows you away. But then he candidly admits it may not. I think it might have been charcoal and paper actually.
Yeah,
The one that I'm
charcoal.
thinking of, he candidly admitted he kind of struggled a little bit with it, and it's not his favorite medium, but he's glad that he did it. I think that's something else that somebody like myself that's not artistically inclined at all, I appreciate people being candid whenever they struggle with a certain medium or not. I also appreciate the journey that takes them from the blank piece of paper to a finished work of art, regardless of what the end product is. Look, you guys know, man, I'm not a huge fan of Rob Liefeld, but by God, he puts pen to paper and people buy it, and he might struggle with anatomy and some of those things, but by God, he puts it down there and he gets a finished product out of it that people are willing to buy, and that's an accomplishment in and of itself.
Who was that? Who's that again? Who did you just mention?
Rob Liefeld.
Oh, Liefeld, yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm Todd is struggling with his mute button. I know he was going to chime in and defend.
Yeah, I'm here. So yeah, I seen Rob Liefeld on Twitter, and I think what's interesting about Rob Liefeld is he's got such a personality, and he I think we've talked about this before. He likes to play the bad guy, and so he's very he's very entertaining. And I seen something on Twitter where he said he's going to drop off of Twitter, and I posted a Will Ferrell meme or GIF where I said I don't believe you, and I got a whole bunch of likes for that one. But this is an interesting topic as well. Like the digital art versus pen to paper art, right?
Right.
I can't draw for nothing, and I can't draw if it's on a computer or if it's on a piece of paper, and it takes a certain amount of you got to learn a certain amount of things to be able to draw even on the computer, right? I mean, yes, some of these people can use these things and do certain special effects and everything, right, but they have to learn how to do that, and I don't want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it comes down to you got to be able to draw a figure. Like, I mean, Smitty can draw a figure.
Yes. Anything. I feel I can draw anything. I'm not bragging, but I feel like I can draw anything. I really do. I mean, you can't just limit your drawing to drawing muscles. You have to be, you gotta, you learn the anatomy of the body of the female and the male, but you still got to draw back.
But can you draw pouches?
Draw a mountain. I want to draw a million pouches. I wanted to get in on that. I didn't get in on it. When there was a challenge or something on the internet.
Oh no, that's not a pouch.
Pouch man, I didn't get on it.
See, I was going to say that I could verify that he can draw a pouch, but that's not a pouch. That's a holster.
That's a holster.
That's a holster. I'm sorry.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Back in the days, Liefeld. I mean, I'm a big Liefeld fan of his.
Me too. I like
it. I loved it. It was a splash page after splash page. It was awesome. It's what we fucking paid for. I think he got lazy here and there, and then we got a couple covers and what we wanted for our books. We didn't deliver lately, and it kind of sucks too because he's from Orange County. I'm from Orange County. That's why I used to consider him a homeboy, but his ego got over fucking inflated, man. And as of late, from his Kickstarter, that nobody knows what the fuck happened to that shit. And then just the work that he's been producing lately. I was the first one. John will tell you, man. I will jump up and I will defend you. I will fight you, fucking Rob Liefeld. But recently, just the stuff that he's come out with, you just cannot defend that shit. It's just like, my God, that's fucking horrible, man.
And
he needs to definitely step up his game on that.
right.
Wow.
And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't going to out you, Shazam. I wasn't going to do that. But yes, Shazam has been a staunch Liefeld defender almost since day one that I've known him. And I respect that. Like I say, look, man, art's subjective. If you dig his stuff, you dig his stuff. I don't believe that Liefeld's a bad dude, but a little bit of sketchiness on some Kickstarter stuff. Yeah, a little bit. A lot of bit. I mean, dude, I want to say whenever I checked into it, and my memory is faulty, so I'm not going to give a dollar amount, but it was 5 figures that was in the Kickstarter that was never delivered. Come on, man. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a crew Kickstarter that's at $2,000 and some change here, and it's already delivered on one. So I mean, that right there is a leg up above. Now this is something else. I really do want to bring this back to the crew. Crew 2's got a couple of first appearances in it too, doesn't it, Todd?
Yes, it does. Actually, we debuted at the end of crew number 1, Gaz, Moses, and Shazam.
Those are cameos.
Yeah, it's very.
They're going to develop
right
into
there
something.
Would be my 180. That is my 180 appearance.
That's yes, exactly.
They're going to develop you.
So Gaz, I'm not going to say Gaz Moses because he just goes as Gaz in this, and Shazam do appear for the first time fully in this book. They're going to be, if we can continue this book and keep it going on, they're going to have big parts. We envision I envision a big battle scene. And so Shazam and Gaz are going to have some amazing alien technology to help them in the battle. We also debuted the Space Force, which we have 2 guys from the Space Force, Nate basically, and Brian Camilli, who I think he goes by Milkowski.
No shit, Nate Peters? That's awesome.
Yes.
I kind of thought that was Brian.
Nate Peters is a very, very Punisher-looking character.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
I did Nate Peters as a Punisher.
Nate, yes.
Dr. Nate.
Yeah. So those guys debut in this one as well. And then in the 3rd book, we have some other first appearances as well. I don't know where I'm going with this.
You can't get any more grassroots than taking some local guys that hung out as kids and putting them in a comic book. You don't have to create a big superhero who's the most powerful being in the world. I mean, the premise of the story is so genuine, so true. It's adorable. I mean, it's for all ages.
Yeah,
and you're not going to get any TNA here, guys. I'll tell you that much. But you're going to get fun. You're going to get adventure, and you're going to get something that's very well, and you're going to get great art, and that's all you can ask for, and good value on a comic.
Yeah, and I hope people. I hope people give it an opportunity and read it because I think most people would enjoy it. I tried to tap into when I was a kid. One last thing that I'll say is I'm a fan of Stephen King, and Stephen King has wrote multiple stories with kids as their main characters, and they're fantastic. I mean, think about it. Think about I think he did Stand By Me. I mean, the kids were the characters.
Right. Or essential part of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I try to do with the crew was just, and make the kids the central part of the story, but it's not a kiddie story. I mean, eventually these kids are going to be kicking some ass.
Some of that shit is so funny though, is because like me and you, we've talked about like on the first issue, some of where you got your ideas, and it's like when I look at shit like this, right? That whole fucking scene right there, I know where it came from because you told me, and then after when you read it and you see it, like it's so relatable, it's so funny because one, you know the person, but it's something that really fucking happened. And then you just happen to incorporate it into the story. I mean, it was very fitting, but it's cool shit, man. I mean, maybe it's only relatable to us, and people within the corner because we all know each other. But that whole scene right there with the fucking bug and the bug spray, it's just like, after reading it and knowing what you told me of what happened, and I'm like, oh my god, there it is. There's that fucking part. It's hilarious, man. It's great shit.
I think it's
Definitely.
universal. I think that's universal. I think that everybody can relate to this, honestly. That's just that again. That's a personal opinion because but there again, I wasn't upon reading it. I wasn't privy to that story. Still, absolutely enjoyable, and like you were talking, like Todd was talking about, classically written by Stephen King, stories with kids in them as main characters. We were all kids once, man. Some of us have lost that along the way, but we were all kids
All
once.
the greats had kids involved with them, man. Fucking Monster Squad, Goonies, fucking It. Fucking what was what I
Steven
was watching the other
Spielberg's
day?
known for having kids in all his movies.
Yeah,
That's
I
an
mean,
integral part of
it's
the
relatable.
storyline.
Stranger Things. I mean, it all relates to that. It just matters where you put them in that genre. We're all part of a little age demographic. John obviously is way fucking older than everybody here.
Dude, don't talk about Smitty that way, man.
He has to say that right after my birthday too. I feel older.
Man.
No, but I mean, you guys get what I'm saying, man. We can appeal to every age demographic that's out there, So I mean, everyone can pretty much relate, and for those that can't relate on the age demographic, eventually they can because they probably have an older brother and older sister that's along our age. They're probably force-fed up shit. Whether from DuckTales, the Gargoyles, the fucking Goonies, who knows? And if they're not well-versed in the classics, then they're not part of the age demographic that Todd needs to fund his book.
That's true. That's true. But even then, let's be honest.
But his sister is.
Well, but let's be honest here, though, man. We're the ones that are raising that next generation. My kids have they've seen E.T., they've seen Princess Bride. They watch Stranger Things with me. You know what I mean?
I just bought that tonight with my daughters. I took them out for a daddy-daughter day. We went to a movie store that me and their mom used to go to go buy movies. We were there. Princess Bride, Blu-ray, $5. Oh, gotta grab that motherfucker.
Yeah, man.
My daughter, who's 9 years old, because she saw the Christmas Vacation, she's like, "Hey, check it out, Vegas Vacation. Let's get this. Let's watch this." 9 fucking years old. Granted, I don't think she should be watching that, but hey, it's rubbing off. So
just don't show her European Vacation. That one was the one that I enjoyed the most as a kid.
Well, it's not like I'm popping into fucking Porky's fucking episodes and shit. But yeah, but we watched the Three Stooges movie. She fucking loved it. I like it because I'm a big Three Stooges fan. And we were there, and she's like, "Oh, Dad, there's Three Stooges fucking movies." I'm like, boom, boom, boom. We're gonna grab them, fucking $2 a piece. Let's roll with it. So I mean, we do fucking spread it, whether it's to our brothers, our sisters, and our children. Eventually, it gets ingrained. Even with TV shows that you see, like right now, there's two that come into mind. There's one called The Goldbergs. The Goldbergs is a dude who used to film his fucking family in the 80s with his fucking camcorder. Now he's making a TV show. It is everything that we can relate to the fucking fullest because it's from the 80s. It's full of pop culture. The other one it's called Fresh Off the Boat. It's about some Asian family that came. The kids are Asian American growing up in the 90s. Through the 90s, if you're a little bit younger, sorry, John, you can relate to it. You can relate to it a lot because you were susceptible to that culture. It's not like it was just an Asian culture or a black culture or a Hispanic culture. It was an American culture. So when you see it, you're like, holy shit, I remember that. It's like now I'm going through a time warp because there's a streaming service called Tubi. They had a bunch of old stuff that we used to watch mainstream all the time, but they have a show called Grace Under Fire. I love it. As I'm watching it, I'm flashing back on simple shit. Like everything in her refrigerator is Private Select. You guys remember Private Select? It was like the generic
Walmart brand
thing for a fucking supermarket. Yeah. But as I see it, like that's the shit that sparks that nostalgia memory, and we're like, oh, that's fucking awesome. That's what I like. Something fucking stupid. It's a strawberry fucking soda that's a private select. But those are the things that trigger us, which is why when you go back with like your comic and the stuff that you're doing, it goes back to that little nostalgia fucking twist. Everybody can relate to it on one sense or another.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. That's and let's be real here too, man. The most of us are buying comics for nostalgia. That's kind of what we're doing. Like you were talking about loving your Three Stooges and stuff. And I'll tell you right now, dude, at the very end of December, I found a place that had some dollar bin books. I ended up grabbing I think it was Three Stooges #3 gold key from the late 60s. And
I
it was,
collect that shit.
dude, me too, man. It's off the wall stuff. Nobody else is really looking for it, so it's not like it's super ridiculous valuable. But dude,
or shit like that, Golden Key, Monsters,
yes,
what?
yeah,
Issue
man.
number
Wow.
There you go. See stuff
Very
like that.
nice.
It just piques that interest in you, and you remember. Same thing for me with Lone Ranger stuff. It's the exact same thing of I remember my dad let me stay up late when I was very small and watching it in syndication after the 10 o'clock news came on, that kind of stuff. And watching, a 30-minute serial with him, or maybe two if there were two on at the time. And just, man, takes you back, man. It takes you back. And you have some good memories that way,
See, but it's not only that too. It's you got to look at the actual when it comes to the market. All right, like I was watching a podcast recently with Comic Tom, and he was doing something with another guy. I forgot who it was, but they were talking about how variants are not killing the comic industry.
That was with Jim Nent.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. All right. One of the things that he talked on was something I preached fucking for the last couple of years, and it's true. It's a reality of it, because we are that market now. We are those kids from the 80s and the 90s that we grew up, maybe not dirt fucking poor, but shit, man, we didn't have two fucking nickels to rub together at the time. Now we have that money. So like some of the first things I bought when I was, getting back into collecting was that old Image fucking bullshit fucking comics that are probably worth nothing, but to me it meant the world. Like I have a Wildcats #1 signed by Jim Lee and Scott Williams that was the dealer incentive gold foil. All right. Back then, remember when that came out? We couldn't touch that as kids, man. That shit was like a $34 book. We did that shit for $25, but that's the shit we want. These variants that we couldn't afford before, now we have a little fucking coin in our pocket because we work hard for it, and we're gonna go and get that shit. And that's what keeps this fucking market going, is because those 80s and 90s fucking kids, we have the capital now, we want the shit, and we're gonna get that shit. No matter if it's fucking buku bucks or if it's fucking bullshit fucking worthless.
Right.
What some people fucking flush, the others fucking flaunt.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, look at what's happening with books like Spider-Man #1 that McFarlane did. Some of those are going on the rise. You're finding variations on those books. Like you say, I actually think that's one of the good things about these Kickstarter books. And what I think creators are utilizing, they're utilizing that nostalgia with covers and stuff like that. Like we were talking, I think it was slightly before you got on here, Chris, that Smitty's covers got a straight up Atari cartridge feel to it. It looks like you're a kid in the 80s and you're at the store and you're like, I got to have that video game right there off of the rack, because that's what, that's the feel it gives. And man, you just can't beat that. You can't.
You're absolutely right.
You know what's so cool? I mean, like Smitty sent me that artwork, and I think it was like a cops and robbers game from from Atari that came up to me. I can't think of the name of the game, but he sent it to me. I popped it into there. I quickly went on and popped it into like an Atari case. I sent it to Smitty.
Yep.
And I was like,
Yes.
what do you think, man? What do you think?
Brilliant.
And at first I felt bad because it was like
Take it away somewhat.
Smitty, you did like 2 other covers that were really awesome as well. And so it's hard to pick, but like, and then to take one of your art pieces and throw it into a completely different idea, but it really ended up working out. And then Smitty added the rainbow effect as well to the drawing so that we could get as much Atari feel as possible. And I really think that we did.
We did.
And I really, really look forward to printing this one up because I think the colors are going to pop. I think it's going to look really cool. And like I said earlier, I mean, even if you're not a Crew fan, but you got a game room, you could put this one into one of those comic book frames and appreciate it because
you got a game comic item, sure.
Exactly. I mean, it looks like
an actual game.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if we get to the 5,000 mark, which I don't know,
someone gets the original art for that.
Yes. And in one regard, I almost don't want to reach that so that you can keep the original art and be able to.
I got the original art that's on the box, but this is the prototype that I originally sent you.
Okay.
We might do something with the original art also, but right now they get the prototype.
Yeah, we got a ways to go to go, but
we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but we're hoping to give
that's
away.
The beauty
Here's the piece that's going out today to the winner.
Oh, that's so awesome.
That'll be awesome.
See, that's the beauty of these crowdfundings, though, is just that you can go so many different fucking ways with it. I mean, and I really got to give it up to Polito on that. He keeps setting the bar higher and higher.
Yes.
You get something from him. Yeah, you get that nostalgia feeling because it's something that it's from the '90s. It's a character that you can relate to, that you know. But then you get all this extra fucking swag, and you get Marat Michaels. He's doing
that's
shit
what I like.
Yeah, you get like cool fucking like patches and shit like this from Counterpoint, or even people like Wendy that does those naughty books like for naughty stripper fairies. But she saw the popularity of the challenge coin. She put out a fucking badass challenge coin that was free when you fucking backed her shit. All you needed was $20 to back whatever book it was that you wanted, and you got that shit. You do the same thing, Todd. You do the free book. Everybody loves a free book. That right there. If I only put $25 in for a Kickstarter, I get a free book, and then on top of that, I get a cool little fucking coin like you did that poker chip. That shit just makes it all worth it. Another one that stepped it up, man. Like I didn't expect any of that shit was Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo had her adult coloring book. If you guys fucking back that shit, did you guys see everything she threw in there? She threw fucking metal prints.
It's great incentive. It's great incentive to buy it.
It is, man. I mean, it makes it fucking worth it. Not only that, but when your shit fucking comes, with the exception of that shit that happened with Dennis and that dude fucking Moore, but you get it. It's coming. It's in great condition, and you're getting a bunch of cool fucking swag with it.
You get a quality product for the value of the money.
Even on this, I was just flipping through this, man. The cardstock, the paper quality, the ink, it's fucking top notch. This is what I want when I get my book. I want something nice. I want something that's gonna. I mean, you could have sent this in a fucking regular manila envelope, and the actual stock of the quality of the book, it would have fucking withstood the shipping. Some people don't really do that. Like on the mainstreams, I had 2 art germ covers that was for a black cat. And it's a very thick book, but because it's so thick, I had to go through like 2 different shippings on replacements because it was so thick that when it would shift and it would rip off the fucking staples. You don't get that with these type of books or any of the other ones that we're getting from these other Kickstarters.
Yeah, dude, that's one of the things. I'm a comic book collector as well. So, like, if I get a book in the mail, I want it to be at least a 9.6. And fortunately, one of the things that we got going on is that I have a friend that lives right by the printing company in Detroit, and he actually went and he picked up all the books. He inspected them. He took back the rejects, and we got new books. And I want everybody to get like good quality books. When I send Smitty his books, I want him to look at them and be like, "Damn, this is like perfection."
It is. It was. I was impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you right now, that's the other thing. What you guys were talking about too here is the adding of value through a Kickstarter. The big two, let's be honest, let's call them the big three because Image is in there too. You might even be able to throw Dark Horse in there, but really primarily Marvel and DC. They don't actually add that much value whenever they up a book. Let's talk about Wolverine #1 that's coming out here in the very near future. It's going to be a double-sized book, so it's 64 pages, but it's going to be an $8 cover too. And that's $8 cover price for a cover, not an upper tier book, not a 1 in 5 or anything like that, not a ratio variant. That's just your A cover. You want Wolverine #1, you're going to have to plop down $8 for it. And I'm not sure that, and honestly, they've been doing that for a while with these #1s being double thick books. I just don't know that it's adding enough extra value to make me want to drop $8 on it. You know what I mean? Do you guys have any opinions on that as far as, because like you say, to me, a Kickstarter, I'd rather drop $20 on a Kickstarter and know I'm going to get a bag full of extra goodies, possibly a free book out of the deal, and get it signed by the artist and writer for free in a lot of cases. Dude, all of those add value.
There's a big difference though, because like when you're coming to those mainstreams like that, you go into your LCS because they're ordering them for $8 a pop. That is a big deterrent for a lot of people because you go in, you see it, hey, fucking Wolverine. Already we bitch about the price being anywhere over $3 fucking dollars, and then when you see it, whether it's thicker or not, what's the $8 book? Yeah, it's Wolverine. Maybe some enthusiasts might want it, but it's a big deterrent. Like, oh, fucking $8, I ain't gonna do that shit. But like, say this right here. I just picked this up. This is $8 right here. This is a standard, well, one of the standard covers for La Muerta. This is $8. I know when I buy this, it's being shipped to me. I'm getting a pristine fucking book. I get a signature on it, whether I want it, if I want it, at no extra fucking cost. It's great fucking cardstock. I don't have to worry about it being damaged. I am more apt to pay $8 for this, and I think it's more than fucking worth it for this than for the Wolverine, unless it's that Comic Con variant.
And let me jump in on that because the Brian Pulido was kind of like the teacher for me doing Kickstarters, right? I mean, I've gotten books from Brian Pulido and Coffin Comics, and I look at them and they're like 10.0s. Like they look like 10.0s basically. And so Brian was an inspiration to me and what I wanted to do. I wanted to deliver the same kind of quality as he did. And also I want to say that the artist that does La Muerta, the interiors, I don't know what his name is.
Joel Gomez.
Yeah, Joel Gomez. That dude does some incredible work.
Nice.
I love him. I
He
love
does.
Yeah, I love him.
I mean, all up there, man. Those little mini prints are all Joe Gomez signed.
Yeah, so Joe Gomez, if you're ever looking to do anything with Doghouse Comics, give me a call, brother, because I love you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man,
he did some covers for the New Lady Death Kickstarter. I think it's the first time he's done any covers for Lady Death. They are fucking phenomenal. I mean, because he has a style all on his own, and to be honest with you, I can't see that his style would have been with Lady Death, but he did a couple. They're like reimagining. One was it's a pirate Lady Death, and then one is a post-apocalyptic, and the other one is just a strictly black and white that Pulido didn't want to put colors to. and they came out fucking awesome. Because
He was born to draw. He was born to draw in Lady Death.
Yeah, and you know what? And he's a cool motherfucker too, man. He was
Is he
over
an
at
American?
Steam.
Is he an American?
No, oh no, well, I mean, he lives here. As a matter of fact, his old lady is the colorist for Joel Benitez, who does Lady Mechanica. So she's all. Her name's Beth Sotelo or something.
Nice.
But cool fucking people, man. Cool people. Like
Nice.
you sit
Down to
down
earth.
with Joel. Yeah, really cool motherfucker, man. I can't speak any higher of that guy.
Could we get that last picture on? I just wanted to give away a couple more things.
Bear with me for just a second. Which picture we wanted to get?
The very last one I have. It's pictures of my art, but I did some art that I had
The
planned
one
to
of you
give
in
away.
the G Street, John. Oh,
Yeah.
I have Dennis Parrish.
Hang on.
I wanted him to pick out a picture, and then I got a few more I want to give out to.
Are we talking about the ones that Todd sent me?
Well, I just sent one to Todd. I don't know if he sent it to you.
I'll forward it over, and
It's the one I did. It's the last one I put in, Todd.
Is it the one with the multiple pictures?
Yeah, I want to give some of those out, but I want them to pick out what they want, the winners. I know what Christopher wanted.
All right, I'm gonna send this.
We all know what Christopher wanted.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. I mean, how ironic that Shazam would show up when you're giving away a Shazam piece. That is pretty awesome.
I
All
didn't
he has to
even
do
really
is
know
hear the
that was
word
going on,
Shazam.
but I'm cool with that.
All he has to do is hear the word Shazam somewhere, and he pops up.
Oh God, I know.
He's on it.
Or the word burrito when I'm there.
Yeah,
I love a good burrito.
yeah. Hopefully, DC doesn't sue me because I think in this second book I'm just gonna leave Shazam's name as Shazam.
Oh, you did. I was wondering because you asked me about that, so I was wondering how you were going to handle that.
Yeah, it was a
I
little bit.
don't think it's going to be a problem if you don't draw the actual character.
Yeah, I mean,
Anybody can have a name Shazam.
Yeah, I think it's a nickname.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's not.
I'm going to get a cease and desist on my fucking Facebook fucking name. Watch.
Probably.
Nice.
I mean, I guess if you change into a superhero when you say Shazam, bitches.
Then no one's going to argue with you. No one's going to argue with you at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man! I'll put a fucking Mercury
lightning bolt up your.
I'm sorry, guys. Give me just a second. I'm trying to get logged in here.
Take your time.
Sorry
What
about
do you
that,
got? What do you
No,
got
good,
on your
man.
back wall right there, John?
I got my name. I got my name. I got just some pictures I picked up at Hobby Lobby to decorate my little corner.
No, I'm
I got a
talking
nice.
about the pencil work right there.
That was a piece done by Mike DiCarlo. He was an inker for. He's an inker for. He was an inker for DC. Did a lot of great books. A lot of key
Mike
books.
DiCarlo?
Also.
Mike
The other
DiCarlo.
one I got is Neil Adams, Ballerina the She-Bat. It was a print. It's a limited edition print.
That's a Mike DiCarlo right there for you.
And Mike DiCarlo did the Steve. I love Steve
right there.
Superman, old school again, that type of thing. I got a Steranko over on this side.
I ran a Kickstarter for DiCarlo, and he sent me a few commissions. He's got some cool. Did you guys happen to see that unboxing that Corey did, or he's got that the first appearance of Lobo, signed and remarked by DiCarlo.
Wow,
So,
very nice.
And he got it back in at 9.8.
oh, that's
Wow.
insane. That's
I see a lot of
super high
that. I
grade.
see a lot of that. How can that be? I don't know. I guess the inside. If you keep the insides clean, it's not easy to do. But if you keep the insides clean, I guess you get a 9.8. They grade the inside book and not the art necessarily outside.
Yeah, that whole grading thing, I can go on for days about that fucking shenanigans.
Here's a nice piece I like that I have. You can see it right up here. It's the Spider-Man poster.
Oh, that is nice. I like that.
Signed by everybody in the cast. Everybody.
Wow.
Stan,
No
Is that
Toby,
Tom?
That's fucking
Christian, everybody. Alfred, we played Dr. Ock, the producers, James Franco, JJ, everybody. Sam Remy, the director. I was given
Damn,
away at the premiere. They had an area to meet people and sign and do things like that. I had a friend of mine that went.
that is
Gave it to me.
fucking impressive.
Nice. I love it. I love that scene looking down in New York.
So, guys, unfortunately, I'm not being able. My phone is not. What I've been doing is sharing it off of my phone. I've not been able to let my phone's not being given
Okay.
permission to get back in. I'm sorry about that. What we can do is we'll make a post in the Facebook group, the Comic Book Theater Facebook group, and we'll list all the particulars out there. We'll make sure that people get what you intend to give and who you give it to, and we'll make sure they get notified publicly and stuff.
All right.
You know how it is, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
Technical difficulties for some.
Yeah, we're older than we look.
Well, I'm older.
I'm in
I'm
fine
not
company.
as old as I look. Todd, on the other hand, is like 153. So
Yeah, you're close, man. You're close. You're just
I'm getting there.
111 years off.
So anyway, well, man, I think it's about time to wrap this bad boy up, man.
It was fun. Let's do
Really
it
good
again.
conversation. Absolutely. You guys both have open invitations back anytime. Just hit us up, man. We'll do it again, I'm sure. But before we go, we always do final thoughts. I think it's only fitting we do final thoughts again. Shazam, I'll start with you, man. We got final thoughts for us this evening.
Final thoughts are on the new Rock movie coming out for the Black Adam. Justice fucking Society, baby. I am a big Society fan.
Introducing.
My only fucking gripe is that there is no Alan Scott, and I am a huge Alan Scott fucking fan. I wish he was going to be in there, but I'm happy with the direction it's going. So fucking kudos on that. Shazam, bitches.
All right, Smitty, you're up next, man. Final thoughts. Anything you got in your mind you want to get off?
Thanks again, everybody, for watching the program tonight. I thank Todd and yourself for letting me be on the show. And I haven't done videos, so this is the first one I've probably done. People get to see me a little bit, and it's the start of something different. Who knows what it could lead to? Thanks again for both of you. And thanks to Todd for letting me do the cover. For giving me the opportunity.
Right on. Well, man,
and pick up your copy of The Crew 2. Please.
Absolutely.
Help us out.
Todd,
Parents, baby.
I'm going to butt in line here, and I'm going to let Todd hit cleanup tonight. I'm going to do the same thing. My deal is pick up your copy of The Crew number 2, get this thing fully backed. Let's get some stretch goals in there too, because honestly, again, all it does is add value to what you've already committed to. And you can, the other great thing is what, Todd, I believe it's for an extra $5, you can get a second printing of The Crew number 1. So it's not like you're actually just jumping in midstream. You can get a copy of The Crew number 1 as well and get caught up on everything. So, get in there, get it back. Let's do this, guys. Let's kill the suspense right now and get it fully funded. That's all I got.
All right. Well, I guess I should probably talk about the Crew at the end of this one, right? Hey, the Crew, you might look at the covers and think that it's a kid's story or something like that, but it's actually a fun story. I consider it an action, adventure, sci-fi, comedy type story. Some of my favorite writers are like Donnie Cates was one of the guys that kind of inspired me to go in the direction that I went. Also the Marvel movies all have a bit of comedy in it, and so I included comedy. you're not just supporting me. You're not putting money in my pocket. You're actually giving us the opportunity to give other people opportunities. And that's what's really fun. I mean, these guys are going to be able to hold a comic book that they created in their hands. And that's really cool. I know the way that I felt when I first held the comic book in my hand. I was pretty excited, and I can't wait to see these other guys be able to hold their comic books in their hand. And so we got one more person here that might want to give some final thoughts.
Who's that? Oh, here we.
Okay.
She's welcome. She's welcome.
Come here. Final thoughts. Say hi.
What it's all about. It's all what it's all about for the kids.
You're a celebrity. What?
Artist yourself.
Hey, so be honest with everybody. The My Little Pony books that Dad gets, they're not for you, are they? They're for him. Your dad collects My Little Pony books, doesn't he?
Yes.
We caught him. We caught him. We caught him.
Don't defend him.
No, come on.
Come on.
All right. All right, we got a shy one here, so we'll wrap this one up.
Guys,
Peace out, everybody.
Be good or be good at it. Later, guys.